Today, it's all about waistcoats. I am your host, Prof, also known as the King of Drape. Welcome to AskOkey. Let's get into it. Now, we're going to talk about why everyone ought to own a few waistcoats. It is an accessory, of course, just like your necktie, your pocket square, or hat. However, I think waistcoats are a missed opportunity to enhance an outfit. Of course, they were ubiquitous many years ago, half a century ago, certainly a century ago, and somehow they've fallen out of favor, if I could use that word. However, for very sophisticated dressers, you would know that a waistcoat is just one way to add more panache to an otherwise simple outfit. In this presentation, we're going to talk about styles, we're going to talk about materials, how they should fit, types of waistcoats for formal dress, both morning and evening dress, and then finally, waistcoats for casual dress. Let's start from the top. Waistcoat styles. One, of course, is single-breasted, which I have on. It's a single-breasted. There are many ways to do it, or there are several ways to do a single-breasted waistcoat. You could do one with a collar and a lapel, such as I have on, or without a collar and a lapel. It could be lined in the back with basic lining, or it could be done with full cloth, as I have on here. It's a matter of choice and a matter of how much fabric you want to actually expend on the waistcoat itself. A single-breasted waistcoat typically comes with 5 or 6 buttons. The English way, of course, is to do it with 6 buttons. With the bottom button undone, the bottom button is always undone and the top 5 buttons done. I've seen Italians do 4-button waistcoats or 5-button waistcoats, but the proper English way to do a waistcoat is a 6-button waistcoat with the last button unfastened. A double-breasted waistcoat, similar to a double-breasted coat, has 2 parts overlapping. In other words, you have 2 layers of cloth, one overlapping the other. They always come with a collar and a lapel. A double-breasted waistcoat always comes with a collar and a lapel, as opposed to a single-breasted where you have the option of going without the collar and a lapel. They always come with 6 buttons arranged near the bottom in a diamond formation. Essentially, the idea of a double-breasted waistcoat is to enhance sort of that V shape. It's sort of broad at the top, the lapels are broad at the top, and they narrow down, and the button arrangement essentially follows the line of the lapel, enhancing visually the V shape of the wearer. There's also, if you want to get a bit more, shall we say, fancy, you could do horseshoe lapels, and these are lapels that are bellied. For the double-breasted waistcoat, the lapels are slightly bellied and create something of a horseshoe. Now, let's talk about materials or fabrics used in the construction or making of a waistcoat. Of course, the most common is going to be wool, such as I have on. What I have on is a fresco 2-piece suit without the coat, of course. So this is a 2-piece. This is a simple high twist. It's a high twist wool, which is just perfect for a waistcoat. Of course, in the cooler months when a waistcoat is worn to provide additional warmth, it can be done in tweeds, in flannel, or other material that sort of are more insulating to trap heat. Again, one of the core functions of a waistcoat is to insulate the body and protect it against sort of the elements. Linen is also a good fabric for the summer, for waistcoats. It's just very elegant. Very often in the summer when it's very warm or humid, it's very common to see gentlemen, or it used to be very common to see gentlemen walking around in shirt sleeves and just a simple waistcoat in temperatures where it would be unbearable to wear a jacket. It's just an elegant way to walk around or to present yourself without a jacket when the weather is not conducive, as opposed to walking around with your shirts. So again, in the summer, linen is a perfect fabric for a simple waistcoat to wear in the place of a regular jacket, just to look a little bit more sophisticated. Silk is another fabric that is used, and this is specifically for evening wear. Your tuxedos, your dinner jackets. This is really where you can get very creative. Embroidery, very, very shiny silks, and jacquards, of course. So silks and jacquards are very, very common for evening wear. This is where you can really get exuberance. Typically, of course, evening wear, i.e. tuxedo or dinner jackets, tend to be more somber. Black or midnight blue with a white shirt and a dark bow tie. And so a very colorful silk vest or jacquard vest is a way to sort of enhance or add some color to an otherwise funereal outfit, which is what you would typically have with your evening wear. Cotton, I typically do not recommend because cotton is very stiff, again, depending on the type of cotton. And the waistcoat is a garment you wear very close to the body. And so it has to be something comfortable and something pretty fluid, not something rigid that restricts your movement. And so I stay away from cotton personally. It can be done, but as a personal choice, I stay away from cotton when making waistcoats. Now, let's talk about the fit. How should they fit? Unlike coats, waistcoats need to fit very close to the torso. You can see from what I'm wearing, it's very fitted to the body. If you're accustomed to our drape jackets or our drape coats, you would understand that we like to have a lot of room in our jackets to enhance, of course, comfort and mobility. But with a waistcoat, it's a garment that is worn close to your body. And again, one of the key features, it should accentuate, if you've got a masculine frame, for instance, a waistcoat should accentuate the frame of your body. And so you want it cut very, very close to the body, close to the hips, close to the chest, following the natural lines of the body. Going further, the length of the coat should be just about an inch lower than your natural waist. So this is my natural waist. It should be just about an inch or thereabout, maybe slightly over an inch lower than your natural waist. Now, of course, you've seen a lot of modern waistcoats where the coats are cut very long. That just looks very, very odd and very tawdry. And the reason why waistcoats in the modern time are cut long is because trousers are not worn at the natural waist. Trousers are worn at the hips. And so the idea of cutting a longer waistcoat is to cover the shirt. However, if your trousers are worn at the natural waist, as they should, then your waistcoat doesn't have to be that long. It should be just long enough to cover the waistband of your trousers. As you can see, that's the waistband of my trouser. It should be long enough just to cover the waistband of your trouser. And then, of course, on the side, it's sort of cut slightly higher to show the sides of your trouser, and the back as well. It stops just at the top of the seat of your trousers. And so in terms of the length, that's exactly a proper waistcoat should not be too long. It should be just short or sort of just long enough to cover the waistband of your trouser. Let's talk about the collar itself, the fit around the collar. Very similar to a jacket or to a coat. The collar of the waistcoat needs to sit very close. Sit very, very close to the collar of your shirt. There shouldn't be any gap between the collar of the waistcoat and your shirt. There shouldn't be sort of a gap showing a slice of your shirt. It should overlap very neatly or sit very neatly close to the collar of the shirt. Now let's talk about the armhole. As you can see, the armhole must be fairly small and fitted perfectly to your natural armhole, as you can see here and here. And the reason, of course, is that very, very similar to jackets, you need a wide range of motion when you're wearing a waistcoat. You need to be able to move around. Now, if your armholes are poorly fitted, what happens is that the coat dances around, or the waistcoat dances around. It moves around when you move around. Again, this is another case for cutting the waistcoat close to your body. and with a high armhole. That way, when you move around, the coat stays exactly in place. It doesn't slip off of you. It's not moving around. It's not dancing around. It stays exactly where it should. So one last thing I'd like to mention about the fit is a buckle in the back. Now, as you can see, my waistcoat here is bespoke, or it's made bespoke just for me. Now, if you were to buy one off the rack at a store, you would probably have a buckle added in at the back of the waistcoat. And the reason or the purpose for that buckle is to either tighten the waistcoat or loosen it up, depending on your weight, or sort of if you gain weight or if you lose weight, or if it's ready to wear. Obviously it's not sized properly. And so the buckle there is just sort of a one size fits all to ensure that you can sort of tighten it up so that it fits snugger to the body. But again, if you're having it made for you, bespoke, then there is no need for a buckle because it's cut exactly to your proportions. Now let's talk about waistcoats for evening wear. As I said in the introduction, they're more ornate than sort of a suit waistcoat, which is what I have on. Again, very ornate. They're usually made in very exotic or sort of flamboyant fabrics such as silk or jacquard, often embroidered. Again, the waistcoat for your formal dress is one way to sort of lift up a formal garment or an evening garment, which is otherwise just sort of staid or very funereal. It's also cut lower in front. The waistcoat of a dinner jacket or sort of a dinner suit or evening wear is cut lower in front, whereas you can see here, my waistcoat is cut very high, exposing just a little bit of my necktie. With the dinner jacket, the waistcoat is cut low, and the idea is to expose the marcella front. There's sort of the fabric or sort of the decorative fabric used to make your dinner shirt. Also the studs, your dinner shirt studs. The idea of cutting it low again is to show off the bib or sort of the marcella front or studs and studs of your shirt. Of course, similar to the regular waistcoat, they can be double or single-breasted. However, whether they're double or single-breasted, they should follow the same rule. They should be cut very low in front, usually in a circular form or circular fashion, usually cut in a circular fashion, again, to frame the shirt, which is another, shall I say, interesting piece of dressing for evening wear. Of course, as I said earlier, it's done in silk, in jacquard, or any other fancy exotic fabrics you can think of. They can also, of course, be done in the same fabric as the dinner suit. So for instance, if you wanted just sort of a very simple three-piece tuxedo or three-piece dinner suit, it can be made in barathia, which is the typical fabric we use for dinner suits. It could be made in the same barathia fabric, whether it's black or midnight, that the suit itself is made from. Now, for morning dress, it's slightly different. And morning dress, for those of you who are not properly acquainted with morning dress, it's a long tail, or it's a coat, long tail, worn with striped trousers, what we call cashmere stripes, and they're used for formal occasions during the daytime. Now, for formal wear, the waistcoats are always double-breasted, not single-breasted. Do not wear a single-breasted waistcoat with your morning dress. It's always double-breasted. It is basically configured as I described above, 6 buttons arranged in a diamond. Simple, with a collar and a lapel, of course. Typically, they come in 4 colors: gray, yellow, tan, and sort of a light blue, or what I would call a powder blue. Those are the 4 traditional colors for morning dress waistcoats. Of course, I'm sure you can explore other colors. I've seen cream and variations of these 4 colors, but traditionally these are the 4 colors that they are made in for morning dress. Now, finally, let's talk about waistcoats for casual clothes. This is really where I think it gets interesting. Because as I said earlier, waistcoat is one way to essentially uplift an otherwise staid outfit. They can even be worn with denim. You could sort of feel like I want to wear just a simple pair of denim and say a Western shirt or a simple shirt. A waistcoat is one way to sort of lift it up a little bit with a nice pair of shoes, and it takes essentially what is a utilitarian outfit into something that looks more dressy with a little bit more panache. So it can be used for worn as an odd coat with your casual dress. It can also be worn with odd coats or sort of your casual coats, your tweed coats in the cooler months, one for insulation, two also to add a level of interest or sort of beauty to the outfit. For the winter variants of waistcoats, again, they are always single-breasted. Casual waistcoats always must be single-breasted. Double-breasted is formal, in my view, at least it signifies formal for a waistcoat. So for your casual waistcoats, they must be single-breasted, They can be done in tweed, and more properly or more traditionally, they're done in a fabric called tatasol. These are sort of little colored checks with a beige background, often with a beige background. It can be done with a yellow background or a crimson background, but the most common you see out there sort of is a beige background with colors, sort of square or checks over it in different colors. Again, those can be worn alone or paired with an odd jacket. Should you wish to forego a jacket, they can be worn alone. And I think that in itself is a statement of style. It's just a great way to uplift your style when going casual. Think again, when you're wearing them as odd jackets, think of bright colors, think of things that are fun. They don't have to be gray or dull. This is an opportunity for you to express yourself. Very similar to your necktie or your pocket square or even your socks. There are those who use their socks as one way to sort of brighten up their outfit. So again, a waistcoat is one way to have fun, to introduce a little bit of fun to your overall outfit, especially when they're being worn casually. In conclusion, we've sort of looked at sort of a very high-level overview of waistcoats, how to wear them, when to wear them, what fabrics they're made in, how they should fit. Again, this is not exhaustive by any means of the imagination. However, since this is one of the key anchor pieces of our AskOkey look or AskOkey wardrobe, we thought it'd be proper to do a segment on waistcoats. What am I wearing today? I'm wearing a two-piece suit, an AskOkey two-piece suit. These are our classic trousers, fishtail trousers, or high-rise trousers. As you can see, these are our classic high-rise trousers done with our traditional fishtail back, and they are just the thing for a waistcoat. Why? Because they're cut very high, and so it overlaps very, very nicely with the waistcoat, as you can see. The way we've designed this, we have them pleated at the top, connecting the top pocket and the waist pocket. Again, on both sides, you have double pleats here, connecting the top pocket and the bottom pocket. And the idea, at least sort of the design idea, is to have this continuous line running, two pleats from the top, running into the two pleats of the trousers at the bottom. And it gives you sort of this very uniform look, a very, very coherent, balanced look between the top and the bottom. So it is just not a coincidence that they have similar designs. That is what I have on. I have on an AskOkey shirt, white shirt. Again, all our shirtings come from Calo River. Nothing but the best, as we always say. It's just a simple pinpoint shirt which sits really well with this waistcoat, as you can see, with a very nice tie just sort of peeking right out of the top of the waistcoat. Again, the waistcoat is cut very high just to allow a little bit of tie. And I just like it. If I stand to the side, you can see, you can just pop up or puff up your tie, and it's just sort of, it looks different. It doesn't look like a regular sort of tie. So that is what I have on, and dark burgundy shoes. Again, going with sort of a medium gray scheme, and that's about it. So thank you once again for joining us for this rather brief segment or intro segment on waistcoats. Do not forget to like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, comment on it, subscribe to our YouTube channels, other digital platforms as well. On Instagram, you can find us, or we can be found at AskOkey IG. That's AskOkey IG. We also have a Discord community where we have a group of like-minded individuals that come together to talk about all the things that make life interesting. Last and certainly not the least, do not forget to visit our website, our web shop to be specific, where you can find all this elegant, beautiful AskOkey products you will see in the shop section. Have a look at our jackets, trousers, shirts, suits, and so on and so forth. And of course, everything is all well laid out, very intuitive, easy to navigate, and you can order your clothes in a matter of minutes. That's about it. Thank you for joining us for this segment, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of AskOkey. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.